Welcome everyone to the how to get 300% more care home inquiries and how to best convert them to residents. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be fast, 20 minutes. Please be ready. If you're eating that sandwich, enjoy the sandwich, but please, switch off any notifications. I would like to note and just emphasize that particularly on the elements I'm talking through, it's going to be a summary. I will not be going into the weeds. However, if you would like more videos, webinars, podcasts on anything and everything in detail we're talking about on this webinar, let me know. I could send you anything that you would like to know that will help you. And finally, as we go, questions in Q&A, please. If they come to mind, think of a question, put them in Q&A or chat. We'll come to them at the end. Who am I? I'm Adam. I'm a founder of Springup PR, and I'm joined by Fiona, MD of CoolCare, which is the UK's leading care home management software provider. Now, why more inquiries in the first place? Well, usually, of course, it's got lowish occupancy, and there are a whole number of reasons that we come across. Competition from other homes is intense. There's an over-reliance on local authority referrals. Occupancy still not recovered from COVID. A reputation can be perhaps stained by a bad CQC report, or you may be launching a new care home, a new service, or a wing. And we get this a lot. Just a general feeling that homes or home is not doing enough to promote itself. So I'm going to presume everyone here is doing what I consider the basics. Website, you've got online directories, there they all are. If you're listed there, you've got your individual Facebook pages for your homes, and you've got that collateral, the brochures, your Google My Business, your content, etc. Now, let's get into the meat. Here are what I consider the 4 must-dos. Why? Because they are, I feel, what's working right now for care providers. Number 1, what I could call the regional PR and press coverage, celebrating those great stories that you have, amplifying that word of mouth reputation of your care homes. And you are in such a good place for this care homes listening, because journalists love good care home stories, and you must use that to your benefit. Any questions as we go in Q&A? Just please put them as we go in Q&A. Here are the kind of lovely stories we're talking about. The press coverage, celebrating the good news, your staff, your care from your homes. Now, just something I do recommend. Every care home, doesn't matter who you are, every care home should be able to get positive press coverage every 2-3 months as a minimum. And I just want to talk about, I want to give you one key tip here, is when you are pitching to journalists, write the story on a plate for them. And what that means is so they can copy and paste that story that you're presenting to them. So in that way, you as a care home have complete control of the message and your story. So here's one example. I've got hundreds of these. If you'd like to look at them, I'm happy to do that. Just let me know. Here's one example, 300 words. That really juicy headline gives that journalist the story, and lovely quotes from your manager, from your families, from your staff. Now, on the digital PR side, you've got that great story. It's in the press, but make sure that that story is on fire on Facebook, reaching 20,000 plus people on Facebook, age 45 plus within your catchment areas. Look at where my cursor is. A good use of emoticons, the story in full, the photos. We put a Facebook boost, £100, 150 quid. Give it some that boost, and then look at these numbers where my cursor is. This will get you 600 and something likes, almost 100 positive comments. Facebook on fire for those good news stories. Press coverage, digital PR. Number 2, Google pay-per-click, 100% what's working right now. 94% of families go online when looking for a care home. 94%. That's why you must be thinking about, when they are looking, that you are using what I call those golden keyword phrases. Golden, what my cursor is. See what search phrases used by prospective families. to make sure that you are consistently at the top of Google when people are searching and driving 10 times traffic to your website as one metric. I just want to give you an example. Here's a dashboard of real life Google pay-per-click campaigns, but dozens of golden keywords you must be using, varying from care home in name your area, find me a care homes near me, a whole number of juicy, what I call juicy golden keywords. And the great thing about Google pay-per-click, of course, is you can record and track all those conversions, brochure downloads, website live chats, emails that come as a result of a Google pay-per-click, phone calls that come as a result of Google pay-per-click, and contact form submissions. And again, a little pretty picture of a dashboard there. Data, this is hot off the press. You will not always get as good as this, but when it's going really well, this is what you can achieve. For one care home, Broughton House in Salford, Google Ad spend 7,668, 11 admissions. Yes, that reads right, with 3 prospective admissions. This went extraordinarily well, and I'll come to really what makes everything go well. Won't always be like this, but when it goes well, this is what you can achieve. Number 3. Facebook ads. I love doing Facebook ads, and I'll tell you why. But essentially, Facebook ads, which not many care providers do, enable you to capture the attention of families at leisure on their phone, for example. Here's some nice, pretty pictures of real-life Facebook ads that we have been using. The beauty about Facebook ads, in my view, is that you will be, if you do them properly, you will be engaging with prospective families before any other care home. Why? Because most care homes do not do Facebook ads properly. And that's the beauty, one beauty of Facebook ads. However, Facebook ads does require more heavy lifting. It's more work. What I mean by that is that, remember, Facebook is a lead, Facebook enables you to get leads, not inquiries, but you will get the name, look where my cursor is, name, email, and phone number. And also you can ask questions to gauge intent. But this is where the work comes in. These are leads, so you have to email them, you have to phone them and text them in order to really reach them. So there is work, much, much more work. But the beauty is that you are going to be getting, we find our data, 20 to 50% of those ads leads are appropriate. And what I mean is they are looking for care of some variety. That's number 3, Facebook ads. 4, I love live chat at the moment. I can give you the data why, but look where my cursor is. This is again real live chat. Live chat on your website the data proves this, is that enables families to contact you in a quicker and easier way without emailing you, without phoning you. They can use your website live chat to get in touch. You will get real-time alerts. So when some family is using live chat, you can get notified and join that chat in real time. And also, you can have a mixture of live chat and automation on these live chat forms. There is variation. You can have control over this, which is really, 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 really powerful. I just want to give you a sneak preview of a dashboard. This is for 2 providers over a certain period of time, and you get all this wonderful data coming through. And look where my cursor is. You can get to see the kind of times that people are contacting your home. And yes, after 8 p.m. often. So this is all really powerful data. So that's been fast, I know, but these are the 4 must-dos, what's working right now on the PR marketing fronts that we are seeing. And it's all very nice, Adam, thank you very much, but does it all work? Well, one thing underlines all this: the whole home has to have commitment. Owners, directors, operations managers, they have to be focused on achieving increased occupancy via any particular PR marketing avenue. Does it all work? Well, don't take anything I say for it. Here's again hot off the press, one care home 300% more inquiries. Another one in Salford, again, more than 300% more inquiries. You can have a look at that. Now, all very nice, as I say, but getting more inquiries, as everyone knows, is only 50% of it. And I'm going to now hand over to Fiona, who's going to talk through how best to convert those inquiries.
Thank you, Adam. Right, great. Can I have the next slide, please? So yeah, today I'm going to look at how to convert more inquiries with you. And we're going to look at how utilising process and software can increase efficiency and aid that conversion. So for those of you that don't know, I'll just give a very, very brief intro to CoolCare. So we're care home administration software specialists. So all we do is work on software for care homes that are going to help them run more easily, more efficiently, and more profitably. And some of the feature sets that we include in there is the inquiry occupancy management side of it, as well as invoicing and workforce management. CoolCare's got 30 years of experience of making care home software and running homes. As Adam introduced me, I'm the managing director. But my background is actually in communication and in occupancy management. So I've previously managed occupancy for over 30 homes. So whilst I love the whole of CoolCare, this is my favourite child, is the occupancy management point of view. And what I'm going to talk to you about today, all of it can actually be done without CoolCare. It's not contingent on you buying the software, but having good software makes it a lot easier. So the first thing I want you all just to very honestly answer to yourself is, can you answer these 6 questions? So which homes have current vacancies, and how many current vacancies do they have? Do you have any upcoming vacancies? So rooms that are not yet available that you know are likely to be. How many inquiries do you have for your homes? And how many of those inquiries are ready to move in when you give them the go ahead that there's a vacancy? And what's your current inquiry conversion rate? And how long does it take for you to go from an inquiry through to that individual becoming a prospective resident? These are the core questions that you need to know the answer to at any given time, because these are the things that will enable you to affect your occupancy rate and your inquiry conversion rate. So this is the first step. This is the first step of increasing your inquiry conversion rate. Know where you are. You need to understand your current inquiry requirements and your performance per home as live as possible, so you know which area to work in. You will have lots of different competing things that you could do to improve your conversion rate, how to improve that customer journey, etc. But until you actually are able to identify, well, what is my need? Where do I need to spend my time? You're not going to be able to put the effort into the right place or ask the right questions of yourself or of your teams. So this is number one. And you really need to be able to check this frequently. And ideally, you should be looking at it daily, at the very least weekly, and it should be completely up to date when you're looking at it. If you're looking at last month's data, that's not going to help you particularly this month. So that's the first thing for you to do, is to go, right, where am I with my data? How quickly and easily can I capture this? Step 2 is then looking at how you actually handle those inquiries when they come in, and making sure that you're having a really good customer journey. And this is where a strong process helps with that. We can all do a really lovely, warm welcome into the home. Well, some of us can, some better than others. But that's one small part of the inquiry journey. What you really need to be able to do is to understand and actively listen to what that inquiry is trying to get out of that journey. So that means that as you go through and you provide support to them in that whole process up to them moving in, they understand that you care. They understand that you know and are able to meet their needs as an inquirer in the same way that you would meet their needs once they're a resident in a care setting. So that means knowing their name. I know it sounds ridiculously basic, but it is so easy to forget to capture that, or to forget to write it down. And then when they come back in the and perhaps someone else meets them, or you've met 5 other people since, you get the wrong name, or you call someone their mother when actually it's their auntie. These are little things, but you need to have really good records so that you get it right when it comes through, because it makes such a big difference to the experience of that inquirer. And the inquiry therefore needs to be easy to access. If you're capturing this information, it is no good in a filing cabinet. It's no good in someone's locked drawer, because you won't be able to get to it easily, and nor will someone else. It might not be the person that takes that initial inquiry that will have the next interaction. So however you're recording your inquiries, it's got to be easy to access by anybody who might then have an onward contact with that inquirer. And then the third point is to review and train. So check the quality of the data capture on your inquiries. Are there specific bits of data that you know would help you better provide information to that inquirer that you're frequently not capturing on those inquiry forms, records, however you're storing it? And I think the most important thing is do some mystery shop. So what's the first way to increase your inquiries? Understand where it's going wrong at the moment and where the experience can be improved, and check that your team are actively listening and recording. So step 3 follows on, and that is about being timely and responsive. So you've got this great information, you've now got to act on it. You can't just leave it in that filing cabinet. You've got to have a next step planned. Don't wait for it to come free in your to-do list that you can do something. Plan it in. Have something that prompts you, that reminds you to reach back out, to check if that inquirer's got all the information that they need, inviting them into their home, and know exactly where they are on that journey so you can push them to take the next step a little bit more quickly. And have a really good understanding of the age of the opportunity, because that will tell you if you are being timely and responsive enough. If you know that the average inquiry takes you 20 days to convert, but you've got an inquiry there that's taking 40 days, or a home that's taking a lot longer, something's potentially wrong. You're potentially not being as timely and responsive as you need. And that's something that CoolCare really helps with. They've got a little dashboard screen there, prompts you on what you need to do next. So we know CoolCare customers convert inquiries in an average of 20 days. And that's something that you should all know and be thinking about. What is that timeliness? And this is the 4th and final short snapshot of my tips for converting inquiries. And this is managing waiting lists. And I've put here in like danger lies, because it does. This is where you can be completely blindsided, in that if you haven't got strong waiting list processes, you can very confidently think that you've got no vacancies and you've got 10 people waiting to move into your home. You therefore don't do the great work that Adam does in generating more inquiries. You sit on your laurels. But actually, when you get that vacancy and you contact that individual, they just said that they were interested in living in the home. When you look into it a little bit further, it's perhaps not quite the home of their choice. They've maybe chosen to move somewhere else, or you can't meet their needs anyway. So you must always be managing your waiting lists and keeping them up to date. So first point is get an assessment. Don't put somebody on your waiting list unless you know you can meet their needs, because you will never be able to admit that inquiry, and you're going to spend more time on it and rely on it when it's never a viable option. Only move them onto the waiting list once they've been assessed, and then keep in touch. Just because they're on the waiting list, you can meet their needs now and they're interested now, things might change. So you need to, again, show the care you would show to them when they move in. You wouldn't just leave them for weeks without speaking to them. Keep getting back in touch. And if they're no longer on the waiting list, remove them from it so that you can actively manage that waiting list process. And then the final one is to prioritize admissions, because as Adam alluded to at the start, this is not all necessarily about total occupancy. It's about the right type of occupancy as well. So if you've got strong waiting list management, you've built up a good waiting list, you should then be able to prioritize the type of admissions that you want for your home that is right at that time. And you can feed that into your occupancy KPIs. And so this is just the final one from me, and it was just a quote from one of our customers. But having some software that sits behind really does help with this. It takes away a lot of the manual process, and it empowers the team to feel in control of their inquiries. And I think I'm at my time, Adam. I've whizzed through that, but hopefully that's been helpful.
Yeah, fabulous, fabulous. Now, thank you, Fiona. Now, any questions? I've got some questions. I've got some questions for sure. But from anything else, anything's coming into mind, or even if you've got your own tips to share, then let us know. Put it in Q&A or chat. Anything comes to mind, we're right here. We've got a few minutes just to go through any questions. I'm going to kick off because Fiona, this understanding, I like this phrase you use about understanding the person who's making an inquiry. I've got two questions. This is my first one. Is that importance of showing that you are wanting to understand, particularly via phone call, for example, if someone is you're having that first conversation with that family. Have you got any tips or advice on how to conduct that very, very first call?
Yeah, well, I think first of all, give whoever's taking that call a bit of training and confidence. Not all of us are that comfortable with engaging with strangers, and it isn't always going to be a customer service style person that is speaking with an inquirer. So I think it's a case of feeding in those questions. And also, the most mortifying thing when you're on a call is when you get about 10 or 15 minutes in and you realize that you haven't asked the question and you feel like it's too late. So you've had a lovely conversation where they've told you this great stuff about their loved one, but you don't know either the inquirer's name or the prospective resident's name. And so I would say give some tips to those on the call about how you can at a later point ask it if you've forgotten to get it up front and you've not followed your kind of rough call schedule. You know, some lovely things like, I'm so sorry, I've just realized I haven't captured your mother's name. Can I take that down? And can I take yours as well, so that we can make sure that we've got great information about you to send over some appropriate information. Things like that, some easy tips.
Yeah, great. Thank you, Fiona. I got a question from Manoli. I hope I said your name correctly. This is for you, Fiona. What's the average conversion time that you're coming across?
So for CoolCare customers, from inquiry through to them becoming resident, we're seeing 20 days on average. And I would say that CoolCare customers have a higher percentage of private fee payers. So we're not typically looking at those coming in from local authority, which I know do tend to be quicker turnarounds because it's often you know, a bed being blocked in hospital and urgent needs. I think we're looking at predominantly self-funding inquiries. I think what's interesting is since pre-pandemic, we've actually seen that come down for CoolCare customers. So pre-pandemic, it was 25 days. It's now 20 days. Yeah. And I think probably decreasing still.
Yeah. I see. Yeah, interesting. And just on our final slide, in fact, please, any more questions, fire away. I actually have another question, but just before that, if you are wondering if any of these strategies that Fiona and I have been talking about could work for you, please just text that number and text strategy to that number and do it right now, either for me, Adam, or Fiona, to apply for a free 30-minute strategy Zoom call with either myself or Fiona. Please do that now to see if we can help you specifically. But I've just got another question coming in. I want to make sure, no, thank you for Noli, and also thank you for your kind words, Masinga. I've got another question for you, Fiona, on what do you think of the value of recording your calls that come in to the care home, so you can use that as a kind of for training and development?
I think if you can, it's definitely worthwhile. It's worthwhile for a couple of reasons. Firstly, to hear the tone of the call, what's being captured, and to give some training on call handling, but also then to have a look at what record is captured on the back of it. Did all the information that was captured on the call make its way easily into a record that could then be used by others so that you can tailor the journey? So, for example, if an inquirer mentions on the call that their father is a great cricket lover, and you've got an upcoming trip to a cricket ground potentially booked, is the fact that they're a cricket enthusiast on the record, so that when that trip comes up, you can actually potentially invite them along. It's things like that that will really help by having the recording of the conversation. You can not only see how did the conversation itself go, were there things that could have improved the experience on that individual call, but how did that translate into my process that will help the onward journey as well through the good record keeping, which sits at the foundation of converting more inquiries.
Yeah. And I love this idea that you mentioned about, if you listen, and it's so important, this idea of listening and understanding, you can, by doing that, you can do, as you've mentioned, like invite them to a particular event, or, or hear what they say and think specifically about how your home and what your team, how they can particularly help them or give them something a little bit special
Yeah.
at that moment in time, just by that listening to them.
And it's even linking it back to that original inquiry source. So, you've done those Facebook ads, you've put in there a great story about something that happened in the care home, and that's where you've got that initial engagement from. You can store that on the record. Well, actually, this is something that triggered a positive response in that inquirer. So why not utilize that intelligence to then help you in the inquiry journey, signpost those things to that individual? Because it's something that they appreciate. It's what originally got them to engage with the home.
Fabulous. Great. Well, we're exactly at 2 o'clock, so we did well. Thank you so much, everyone. And just finally, if you would like to know whether any of these strategies could work for you, just text strategy to that number, to either myself, Adam, or Fiona, and we'll be delighted to help. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.